So, if you've got a brilliant, high functioning autistic child who absolutely loves patterns and rules, but then just completely melts down over math homework, you are so not alone. In this explainer, we're going to figure out how to turn that math anxiety into something they actually enjoy. And it all starts by solving a really fascinating puzzle. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It's the central paradox that can leave parents and teachers just scratching their heads. Math is all about rules, logic, patterns, the very things that so often click with the autistic mind. So, why is it so often the source of so much frustration and refusal? It feels like it just doesn't add up. And this really lays it all out. On one side, you've got this incredible potential. I mean, exceptional pattern recognition, a love for systems, amazing attention to detail. All the ingredients are there. But then you look at the reality, and it's a completely different story. High anxiety, avoiding challenges, and this intense, overwhelming fear of failure. The potential is right there, but it feels like there's an invisible wall blocking it. So, to get past that wall, we have to unmask the true culprit. Because here's the thing, the problem isn't about ability, and it's definitely not about intelligence. It's an emotional barrier, a hidden one, that's basically hijacking the whole learning process. The key thing we need to wrap our heads around is something called working memory. The easiest way to think about it is like your brain's mental notepad, or a temporary sticky note. It's the little bit of mental space you use to hold and juggle information when you're doing something with multiple steps, like, you guessed it, a math problem. It's absolutely crucial, but here's the catch. It's super limited. And this is where it all goes wrong. Anxiety. It's a thief. When a child starts to panic about getting the wrong answer, that feeling of anxiety floods their brain and it steals all the space on that mental notepad. It just completely overloads the system. And suddenly, there's literally no room left for the numbers or the steps or the logic. And that feeling of being totally overwhelmed, that's what triggers the panic and that shutdown response of, I can't do it. Now, that feeling of overload is often fueled by having the wrong kind of goal. Take a look here. A performance goal is all about one thing: getting the right answer, mostly because the fear is looking stupid. And what does that lead to? Well, you start avoiding any problem that looks even a little bit hard. But the alternative, a mastery goal, flips the script entirely. The focus shifts to understanding the process. And here, mistakes aren't failures. They're opportunities. They're just data. This one little shift is how you build real, solid confidence. Okay, so this brings us to the first part of our solution. We can't even begin to tackle the math until we tackle the anxiety. The very first step is to build a foundation of psychological safety. We have to lower the stress before we can ever hope to raise their performance. And that foundation? It starts with the actual environment. Creating a sensory-friendly math zone isn't about being soft, it's about being smart. It's about reducing that cognitive load. So we're talking about a quiet space, minimizing all those distracting sounds and sights, using digital tools that have clean layouts, no crazy flashing lights or beeping sounds, and giving the child control over the pace. These simple changes free up that precious working memory for the math itself, not for just trying to manage sensory overload. Predictability is safety. Having a consistent routine, like this 5-step process you see here, it removes the anxiety of not knowing what's coming next. You start with a simple warm-up to get a win on the board, then move to guided practice, and always end with a fun, low-pressure game. This structure gives them the scaffolding they need to feel secure enough to actually learn. Okay, so once that safe foundation is in place, we can start to rewire their thinking. This is huge. It means shifting the entire goal of math time away from getting it right and moving it towards something more like, let's just try it out. And this might be the most powerful, simple tool you have. Just adding the word yet. It's a tiny little script that reframes the entire situation. Think about it. I can't do this feels permanent. It feels like a fact. But I can't do this yet. That transforms it into a temporary challenge, something that can be overcome. It gives them back their power. And a language we use is what makes this real. Instead of just praising the right answer, we have to praise the process. Using phrases like, I am so proud of how hard you worked on that strategy. Or, hey, mistakes are just data. What can we learn here? This reinforces that mastery goal we talked about. We're celebrating the thinking and the effort, not just the final destination. All right, now for the really fun part. Once a child feels safe and they're focused on the process, we can bring in the ultimate motivator, their own special interests. This is the secret weapon for getting them truly engaged. Just think of a special interest as this high-performance engine. It provides the fuel, that deep internal motivation, to push through problems that would otherwise seem way too hard or just boring. It completely transforms a tedious word problem into a fascinating puzzle that's set in a world they already know and love. And this chart gives you a perfect roadmap for how to do it. You can scale the complexity based on their interest. So let's take robots as an example. You can start with something really concrete, like just sorting Lego parts. Then you can move to pictorial problems, like calculating a robot's speed around a track. And eventually, you can introduce abstract ideas, like using Python to code a robot's power level. The math gets more advanced, but because it's about robots, the motivation stays sky high. So when all of these pieces finally click into place, the safety, the mastery mindset, and the motivation from their passion, something truly amazing happens. We open the gateway to higher-level, creative, mathematical thinking. So remember the journey, right? It all starts with that foundation of safety, creating an environment where their nervous system can just relax. And from that place of safety, we then build genuine confidence by focusing on effort and turning mistakes into learning moments. And this is the incredible payoff. With anxiety no longer stealing all their mental energy, that brilliant, pattern-seeking mind of theirs is finally free to explore, to create, and to truly enjoy the beauty and fun of mathematics. From here, we can start building a bridge to more abstract math. Things like logic puzzles, they're fantastic. It's a super low-stakes way to practice problem solving. Visual coding can take a really abstract concept and make it into something concrete they can see and manipulate. And using a tool like Python to check their algebra homework, well, that makes abstract math feel really relevant and incredibly powerful. So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. We focus so much on teaching the numbers, the formulas, the mechanics of math. But what if the real key, the one thing that unlocks everything else, is simply teaching them that they are safe enough to be wrong? What if it's about creating a space where it is profoundly, deeply, and completely okay to make a mistake?